At a moment of global pandemics, economic turmoil, and words like quarantine and mortality, discussion on corporate governance may seem irrelevant. But the fiduciary duties of boards and their legal enforcement carries on no matter world events. If your board lets important filings, approvals, or procedures get lost in all of this viral panic, legal liabilities will come back to bite you, maybe even years down the road. Now, worldwide, regulators are adopting some relief provisions, extending filing deadlines or dropping in-person requirements for annual or board meetings. On March 13, the U.S. SEC lifted in-person voting and meeting requirements under the 1940 Investment Company Act, and India's MCAs just allowed virtual board meetings there. Expect more of this in the weeks ahead, especially as companies are scrambling to take their annual meetings online. I could write a whole book on the governance issues you'll need to wrestle with as we work through this crisis, but let's put first things first. How do you even conduct board meetings now when everyone in the world is sheltering in place? Taking your board business online has suddenly gone from being a smart idea to become an urgent necessity. Most boards I work with have some experience in this, making use of board portal tech for information and of teleconferencing, often for their committees. But going completely online with video director meetings is still a new thing for most boards, and I know many of you are scrambling to make it work at the moment. Here are some steps your company needs to make video board meetings safe, effective, and legal during this time of crisis. Number one, do your state and national corporation laws even allow virtual board meetings? Over the past decade, most jurisdictions have approved board actions online, but there can be some caveats. Some regulations may limit board actions that can be taken online or set other boundaries. Check first with legal counsel on what your business and your domicile can do. Also, ask about what your own corporate rules allow. Your company or board bylaws should include provisions specifically allowing and empowering board actions by teleconference and video. Now, your current bylaws may not actually prohibit these, but why not make sure? Second, assess your technology and do it right now. If you use an online board portal like BoardVantage, Diligent, or BoardEffect, make a quick study of its online video and voting capabilities. Often boards aren't making full use of these tools, and you may find a video meeting platform is tucked away in the portal just waiting to be tapped. Most often, though, you'll be looking at one of the popular business networking and conferencing tools that companies are already using for their management teams. Slack, Zoom, Microsoft Teams, and GoToMeeting are some of the biggest names here. The upside is that company tech staff should already be familiar with these platforms, and most of your directors are using them too, so they'll know the nuances. The downsides, your directors will be logging in from a variety of hardware. What programs will they need to download to be ready? Also, the formalities required of a board meeting differ from the chatty video conferencing everyone may already be used to. Next up, work to integrate your meeting materials. Look at the board meeting agenda. Are there elements that just won't work in a remote meeting? Or are there FYI, training, or other items that would be better delayed for later in-person action? Make sure that your board portal has all the up-to-the-minute board book information and that staff practice on slide decks and presentations in advance. Even if you use the portal for board books, consider sending out paper copies to directors in advance for at least your first virtual board meeting. If everybody is trying to find their way with both a board portal and a video conferencing app, juggling through all the tech can be confusing for remote directors. At this moment, it might be easier to page through paper for your info. Next up, focus on the security and legalities involved. Both the board portals and the major video meeting platforms bake a lot of security into their systems, but there can still be problems for a board meeting. With the platform you're using, where is the information stored and who has access to it? How do participants log in and log out? With some video conferencing systems, anyone who has the password can tap in. Who will act as your gatekeeper? Avoid anonymous logins like caller number 1 and assure two-factor authentication is in place. Most video conferencing systems let you record the session, but that's just as unwise as audio recording for a board meeting. The final record of any board meeting should only be in the written minutes. And as a final security note, remind board members that anyone within earshot at their end is privy to all of your confidential company information. Finally, set ground rules. Even if your virtual meetings are a hurry-up fix, build in some time for practice in advance. The board chair and company secretary will need to set protocol for all of the procedures you use in any regular board meeting. How does someone get attention when they want to speak? Do speakers need to be recognized? Should the chair try to manage all aspects of the meeting, or let the company secretary or info staffer handle all of that tech button pushing? The latter might work better, at least at the beginning. How do you establish a quorum at the beginning of the meeting and account for members who might be ducking out? How will voting be handled? What about muting audio or texted side chats between members? Is this something you want to allow, and who decides? Are you accounting for directors in different time zones? Are you ready for technical glitches like someone's audio dropping out or a system crash? Does everyone have a backup telephonic number ready that they can call? No doubt these tips for virtual board meetings leave some uncertainties, but at the moment, all of us around the world are having to make things up on the fly. But with preparation, practice, and patience, your board will be able to fill its duties without a boardroom. I'm Ralph Ward. Good luck.